moving on. We're still going to be talking about Nintendo. This time it's its other mobile strategy, Super Mario Run. This game came out last week, was it? Yeah, it's only been out for a few days now. I don't have it because I have an Android, which makes me very sad. But you both have been playing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dean's gonna rub it in my face right now. I can tell. So the big question here is: did Nintendo goof up by making Super Mario Run cost $10? It's a free thing to download, but to unlock the whole thing, yeah, there he is. Yes, this is just mean. This is cruelty. I hate it. The game costs $10 after you download it for free and play the first 3 levels. And it's getting kind of hammered on the user reviews on Apple, and I think the price is the big reason. There's some other stuff, always online connection that I don't like either. But I think the $10 price is the big thing here. Do you guys believe that Nintendo goofed up by making the game $10? Let's start with you, Mike.
I mean, I think they goofed up in that maybe they underestimated how much people would kind of whine about that. I think they made a $10 product, but right? And I just think that the mobile gamer kind of consumer base is just so used to free to play that it's just like they just can't accept it, right? They just can't accept buying a game for $10 on their phone, even if it's like a Mario game that's, pretty good and pretty, has a lot of features and all this stuff. But, as soon as they the other interesting thing too is like a lot of them feel like manipulated, right? Even though Nintendo was always very straightforward about like the free version not having much, right, and just kind of being a thing. Like once you play those 3 levels and it says, hey, you have to pay for the rest of it. I think in Nintendo's mind this is like a good thing. Like, oh, people can try it before they buy it. But to like a lot of consumers, it's like, what is this? They like tricked me into downloading this, and now they want me to pay for it. You almost wonder if it would have been better if there wasn't a trial version. It was just pay $10 and get it. It's Mario, probably like it. So. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's kind of sad, I think, in a way, because I like that somebody just, made a mobile game that costs $10 and it's pretty good and it's worth that. And I'm glad it doesn't have, microtransactions and all this stuff. But I feel like the lesson that consumers is teaching Nintendo is no, we don't want that. We want a free-to-play game and, don't make it cost $10, but sell us stupid things. I don't know. And there's like so many things in that game that could be microtransactions.
Right.
Like you unlock characters and you have to you have like a mushroom kingdom that you build. And there's so many opportunities there for lame microtransactions and like, oh, you're starting to build a mushroom house. Well, it'll take 8 hours, but you get paid $2 right now. Be ready now. I guess like that's what they'll probably end up doing on whatever their next thing is. Because I feel like they are kind of learning here that consumers don't like premium priced mobile games.
That's possible. How about you, Dean? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it sort of makes me wonder just how smart some consumers are again. I think that they don't maybe realize that Nintendo was actually not being greedy by setting a $10 price. Nintendo knows that free to play can be a gigantic, gold mine. For
they've
game
seen
companies.
the Pokemon Go numbers. They know what kind
Pokemon
of money
Go
is in free to play.
has done enormously well with $600 million in microtransactions in the first 90 days. Right, completely free to play game. And so these people who are playing Pokemon Go aren't necessarily getting a great bargain, particularly the ones that are buying all the stuff in it. And I wrote a story about this guy who played Modern War from Gree, and he claimed that he spent $2 million, $2 million over 4 years in the game. Now, if Gree had set that game's price at $10, he would have been playing it for 4 years for $10, right?
And Gree would have missed out on a lot of money. Greed, it would have been the opposite of greed for sure.
Yeah. So Nintendo definitely, isn't being greedy by setting a $10 price. Now, whether or not the game itself is good enough to be worth $10, then that's sort of like a separate question. It's a familiar game. It's there's not much to it. It is slightly different than what you feel like you play on the TV or on a 3DS. And you know, I think $10 is a very fair price for that game. And you're right that the free levels somehow are meant to be a kindness, which is you can actually try this game out before you pay your $10. And the interpretation that got twisted is that like, oh, you tricked me into playing these 3 levels, and now you're sticking this paywall in front of me, and I can't get past the paywall. And like, oh my God, how
so
evil
here's
can
my
you
thing
be?
about this. Yeah. Here's my thing. So I feel like the people who are complaining the most or the loudest, maybe not everyone, they are the people who have never paid any money ever for a mobile game, microtransaction or otherwise. And we know that this is a huge portion of the number of people who play mobile games. Something like 5% monetize, like something like that. Maybe it's more in other games, less in others. And then like 2% of the overall actually pay for the game, really, because they're the whales. They spend a ton of money and they subsidize the play of everyone else. So there's this group of people who are used to never, ever, ever paying for mobile games. It is their closely held belief. Instead, they're like, it's inside of their heart. I do not pay to play mobile games, and I never, ever will. And I've talked to these people. I've heard them, and they say that. They're like, I'll never play for a mobile game. That's insane. Why would anyone ever do that? And so I don't know. I don't necessarily know if Nintendo, you're probably right, Mike. Nintendo probably isn't learning the lesson that they can't really charge $10 for a mobile game, but that's actually not the real lesson. I think they probably will take that away from this, but right. What's actually happened is the people who never pay aren't paying, and they're just being loud about it. And Nintendo is still in general making a pretty good amount of money from this game. I think, we have estimations so far, but the estimations are it's made about $21 million. Those aren't Pokemon Go numbers, but that's on like 25 million downloads. So they're making a little bit less than $1 per download. And it has more downloads through its first 4 days than any app ever. So $1 per download is probably about the same as most other games get. Like that was Pokemon Go. It had 500 million downloads and it made about $500 million. So $1 per download. So, Super Mario Run is doing a little bit worse than that, but not that much worse. And at the same time, it's still this $10 game that is actually a favor to most people who understand how this process works. Like right now, I'm playing a new Star Wars game. I don't think it's out yet in most territories, but it's a Star Wars Force Arena, I think it's called, and it is exactly a clone of Clash Royale, one of the biggest games of the past year from Supercell. And I like the game a lot, but boy, every time I get reminded of free-to-play monetization, it really bums me out, because it's like they're giving you a free card pack every once in a while, and you earn card packs when you win. And to unlock the card packs, you have to click on them and then wait 8 hours. If you buy a doubler, you can get it in 4 hours instead. So of course you have to buy the doubler, because just think about that. That's like, okay, if I can get it in 4 hours, I could play this game a couple times a day and get more card packs. And you can only have a finite number of card packs at a time. And my brain starts going down the trail of all the ways in which this game is purposely wasting my time. So it puts me in pain so that I will spend money so that I can avoid that pain. And video games for me were always a way to avoid ever thinking about money in my life ever. Money's like one of the things I'm really terrible at. I'm no good at it at all. So I go play a video game. It's a thing like, okay, I pay a little bit of money and I have this world that's finite and complete. And if I go into this world, I can kind of control it and manipulate it. And I don't have to think about all these outside economic factors. But mobile gaming is just that for me. And it bums me out. So I was really happy to see Nintendo do this and try this something different. And it almost kind of makes me a little giddy, a little happy that there are all these people whining about this game and how it costs money. And I'm like, okay, go ahead and whine. You just won't get to play it. And that makes me happy. Like, I will. See, I'm going to pay $10.
I'll be fine with that too. But again, I could see Super Mario Run 2 now free to play, like on the horizon.
No, you're right. That's totally going to happen too. Animal Crossing 100% will have free to play microtransactions. 100%. That's the next Animal Crossing. Because the Nintendo, their next couple of mobile games are Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing. At
Fire
least Animal Crossing.
I have no idea what that's going to be like.
Yeah, me neither. But they probably both will be free to play. Animal Crossing, without a doubt. I have no doubt in my mind, though. That's going to be, just one transaction after another. And I'm wondering how they're going to pull that off. But I'm sure it's going to make a ton of money. But yes, I don't think they goofed up. I mean, of course they could have made more money by going free to play. And of course they would have avoided a lot of this whining. And maybe Nintendo could have done a better job of letting people know what they get for spending their money. I understand that's some of the criticism that people are like, okay, I played these 3 levels. What does spending $10 get me? I don't really understand. But at the same time, I think Nintendo, like Mike, like you said, they've been very clear. Like $10, you get the whole game. Like,
right.
That's what happens. So yeah, I wouldn't say they goofed up.